Little Fockers is one of those sequels that really adds nothing new to its franchise, and whose sole purpose is to milk audiences dry of every last red cent. And you know what? The strategy actually paid off. I mean, Universal was desperate for a hit movie, and since Meet the Fockers grossed upwards of $279 million, you can really see the logic behind this. Too bad there wasn't a decent script or a good joke to go along for the ride. Little Fockers definitely had the potential to be a great comedy, but ultimately it celebrates its mediocrity more than anything else. Alright, so Meet the Parents is a modern classic. I think that's pretty undisputed. And Meet the Fockers was an acceptable follow-up on the lives of these people who we began to care about in the first film. But in reality, all that mattered was that these two movies were side-splittingly funny. How about the Little Fockers? Not so much. More like an occasional chuckle, about 2 every hour. That makes about 3 for the whole 90 minutes. The best thing I can say about Little Fockers is that at least Robert De Niro still gets the top billing. And you know what? He deserves it too, because out of anyone, he genuinely seemed like he was the one trying the hardest to make this thing work. The same can go for Ben Stiller, who seems unusually restrained. Here, he brings nothing that he can truly call his own, but he gives it his best shot. And I'm not gonna rip him for that. And really, you can only do so much with half-baked retread like Little Fockers. And since I'm not placing the blame here on De Niro or Stiller, I can think of 2 targets in this movie that are just easy pickings. Jessica Alba and Owen Wilson. Jessica Alba plays this insane pharmaceutical rep whose role in the movie is obvious. She's there to take her clothes off. It's not exactly a bad thing, but let's be honest about it. And she serves as a handy plot device to cause trouble for Stiller's marriage. Owen Wilson also returns for more annoying antics. His presence here was mystifying to me at first because I didn't even realize or remember that he was in the original movie. The way he's acting here, though, you'd think he was from another movie, or maybe he's just playing himself, which I think is what he does normally now in all his movies. And really, $100 million for this? For a comedy? I guess that's the price you pay for having so many big-name stars together, right? And it probably would have been even higher if Dustin Hoffman and Barbra Streisand were going to have more to do. I'm guessing that's the reason they're relegated to quick cameos more than anything else. And thank God for small favors. But what about the title? I guess they picked it because it sounded cool and edgy. But the characters with the least amount of screen time in the film are the Little Fockers. And it's really kind of clear to see why. They basically have no personality and are about as boring as watching paint dry. So overall, it's just the same old routine all over again. While Little Fockers is cute in some scenes, overall it's really a big snooze, and without a caffeine fix, you'll probably fall asleep waiting for a good joke to come on screen. It's got all the classic sitcom plotlines all lined up, ready to go, and then tries to infuse some adult material into them. It's one of those movies of late that's obsessed with having seniors talk graphically about sex. And honestly, if you're still recycling the same material from the first movie 10 years ago, it's either time to get a good script or move on. How did they fuck this up so bad? Little Fockers is rated PG-13. I give it 2 stars out of 4. For these reviews and more, you can log on to Tansut.com. Good night.